Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to Portland's Memorial Coliseum.
Programs lineup, souvenir programs, laser team sets, skybox cards. Okay, it's $3. Thank you.
Here we go. Thorpe on the inbound play. Inbound, Thorpe, Wood, one dribble, two, puts it up, going to be short, no good, then the game is over! And the Blazers pull it off. They pull it off the hard way.
You know, you've seen the band pass.
Can I help you?
You don't want that. Yeah, he's American. He's going out.
Kersey is there. Kersey, director, all up behind the back middle. Breeze right around Tiki Van away and scored. What a play. That's Hall of Fame stuff. Haynes way out on top. Would he go for three? He gets it to Robinson. He'll try for three. Why not? With Robinson for three. Assist Danny Haynes. Pass Willie Anderson. Drive. Puts it up. Blocked by Jerome Kersey at the horn. And the first period is over. An incredible, incredible performance. Incredible.
Lock the door to your right, come in and use the double change.
Inbound for a steal. Jerome Kersey in a breakaway. Is he fouled? No. He gives Cole the ball back to Porter. Porter, Jerome left corner. Back to Terry. Terry for three. Good. Yes, sir. Terry Porter. Back-to-back three.
Wherever you may be, good evening, everybody. I'm Bill Shanley. For the next hour, we're going to relive some of the magic of the past regular season. Meet some Blazer players and coaches, up close and personal. And then we're going to take aim on what's to come, the 1991 playoffs, and see if even greater excitement is just around the corner. So find your favorite chair, my friends. Make yourself comfortable because we're about to take that final trip down the Blazer Trail.
Tonight's special presentation of Blazer Trail, the second season, is brought to you by Smith's Home Furnishings, the Northwest premier retailer of home furnishings. By Binion's, get a better look at Binion's Optical Superstore. By Elmer's Pancake and Steakhouse, home of the original Power Breakfast. And by Thriftway. At Thriftway, you always get our best.
Imagine having your office right in your lap. Now, IBM has a new laptop computer that lets you retrieve information, revise budgets,
Where's that box from down?
create presentations,
Show him the next chart.
even at 30,000 feet. Introducing the PS2 laptop computer. If you want the feel and power of a desktop PS2 without the desk, how are you going to do it? PS2 it.
In about an hour, you can get a desirable new look. A glowing look. An approachable look. In about an hour, get the one look that's right for you at Binion's Optical Superstore with eyewear specialists to help. An in-store lab so even no-line bifocals and trifocals are ready in about an hour. For the look you've been looking for, in about an hour, get a better look at Binion's. No billing or payments for 90 days with Sears charge at Binion's.
When it comes to fresh produce, Thriftway has everything you could want. A luscious array of the finest fruits and vegetables. Fresh to you from the fields and orchards. Ripe, colorful, and bursting with flavor. Only Thriftway brings you all this goodness. And something more. friendly, personal service that makes shopping just a little bit nicer.
At Thriftway, you always get our best.
The Easy Spirit Color Playoffs, the Golds versus the Patents. The one and only Easy Spirit Shock Blocker Pump.
There really is a sneaker inside these little pumps.
You can walk in style and still smile.
Spirit, let the spirit move you.
Available at Nordstrom.
The championship trophy. The award presented to the team that comes out on top after 8 grueling months of NBA competition. When we spoke last, my friends, the Blazers were firmly focused on bringing another one of these trophies to the great Pacific Northwest. They cruised to the best record in basketball throughout the first half of the season. Then a terrific all-star break. Blazers hit a bit of a slump. But then, as you know, they rebounded in impressive fashion.
Portland weekend, and it's really a great tribute to the way our team has played the last 2 years, and I think that everybody who's here deserves it. The only bad thing about it is that Jerome and Buck can be here to share in it with us.
Drexler putting the speed on. Oh, spectacular.
Getting that many free throws during that stretch, so that means we wasn't driving, we wasn't getting opportunities, easy opportunities at the basket, and that kind of concerned us. It wasn't so much as far as that we lost the games, but the way we lost them, and that concerned the players.
Portland Trail Blazers are going to be the next NBA champions. I felt that all year long.
In about an hour, you can get a desirable new look. A glowing look. An approachable look. In about an hour, get the one look that's right for you at Binion's Optical Superstore with eyewear specialists to help. An in-store lab so even no-line bifocals and trifocals are ready in about an hour. For the look you've been looking for, in about an hour, get a better look at Binion's. No billing or payments for 90 days with Sears charge at Binion's.
The Easy Spirit Color Playoffs, the golds versus the patents. The one and only Easy Spirit Shock Blocker Pump.
There really is a sneaker inside these little pumps.
You can walk in style and still smile.
Spirit, let the spirit move you.
Available at Nordstrom.
If your next appliance purchase is going to be a washer or dryer, remember these two names, Whirlpool and Smith's. Whirlpool super capacity laundry products are made with quality you can count on today. From the dependable and durable components inside to the convenient and timely touches outside. Smith's offers you low prices on a large selection of Whirlpool products, as well as long-term deferred financing and next-day delivery. So if your next purchase is a washer or dryer, remember these two names, Whirlpool and Smith's.
Imagine having your office right in your lap. Now, IBM has a new laptop computer that lets you retrieve information, revise budgets, create presentations, even at 30,000 feet. Introducing the PS2 laptop computer. If you want the feel and power of a desktop PS2 without the desk, how are you going to do it? PS2 it.
One of the real keys to the Blazers' success this season has been a very productive bench. The trades for Danny Ainge and Walter Davis and the drafting of Ala Abdelnaby gives Portland a much different look from a year ago. But one huge plus for the Blazers has been the growth of second-year forward Cliff Robinson.
Goes to the far side, Robinson gets it, turns out, shoots, he hits! Back-to-back baskets by Cliff Robinson.
When I'm on the court, I'm excited. I love to play.
Robinson breakaway over the back, yeah! Yes, sir, he loved that.
When I'm out there and the crowd is there, I just get excited. they're here to watch us play. And if you don't go out there and do your best and have a good time at it and show them that you're having a good time so they can have a good time, then it's no fun. When I'm not excited and, you know, expressing myself, then that's when I'm afraid that, you know, my game isn't the way I want it to be, because, you know, I feed off the energy that the crowd gives.
The feeling is mutual. An animated play by Cliff Robinson can stir up the crowd at Memorial Coliseum. After last year's up-and-down rookie season, Cliff has grown dramatically as a player and has now made general managers all over the NBA wonder why they let him slip into the second round of the draft.
I'm not disappointed with it now as I was before. You know, I bet any one of those teams that passed me by then would be glad to have me now.
A lot of players come to this league thinking they can do anything and not realizing what they can and can't do. And Cliff has really worked hard at understanding what his strengths are this year.
And I think as you see the years go on, he's going to get better at understanding what his strengths are and really play to them, because when he does, he can play all three frontline positions and not many people can stop him.
The ringing in of the new year saw a change in Cliff physically. Gone was the hair, replaced by multiple headbands in team colors.
Terry was having a little dinner party over at his house New Year's Eve, and I needed to cut my hair, and it was really looking bad, and I didn't want to go over there looking like that. So I had my brother, you know, trim me up a little bit in the back, and it didn't come out too good. He trimmed it up instead of, he just messed it up, so I had to take it off. And that night I remember doing it. It was heartbreaking because it took me so long to grow it.
Craig Robinson may not be cutting Cliff's hair again soon, but Cliff enjoys having his brother share his apartment and giving him moral support.
It's been really helpful for me. It's, you know, he's, you know, the guy that helps me, you know, take care of business, person here to talk to me when I'm not feeling, you know, feeling too good. You know, he makes me laugh. My brother.
When not playing NBA basketball, Cliff is likely to be playing another kind of basketball. Video games, including one that he can pit the Blazers against other NBA teams, are a big part of his recreational time.
Larry Bird can't stop me from going by him. What is that?
Robinson has gone by the best of them with regularity in his 2 NBA seasons. His added maturity on the court is a given, but he's changed off the hardwood as well. 1 year ago, Cliff was arrested for assault outside a Portland nightclub. The case was settled out of court with Robinson agreeing to and performing community service.
It's been part of a growing process where I've put that behind me now. It happened. It was unfortunate that it happened. You can't put yourself in that kind of situation, so, you know, I just, you know, worked on making better decisions than I did last year. So.
Cliff has put the situation behind him and moved forward. He now has a solid handle on both his professional and personal lives.
With each time I go out on the court, with each time I wake up in the morning, I think I've learned a little something.
One reason for Cliff's effectiveness is his durability. His professional career has been injury-free to this point. Now, the Blazer medical staff are individuals who you don't hear much about, and they prefer it that way. But their quiet excellence is a definite factor in keeping the Blazers among the NBA's elite.
Baby, that's just the way it is, baby. Oh, baby, that's just the way it is, baby.
Years ago, basketball was said to be a non-contact sport. They obviously didn't have the NBA in mind.
Mike Sheminsky, the trainer, is immediately on the floor.
The players get the best medical treatment they can get, and we usually get our players back much quicker than other teams. You don't see us go out with a lot of pulled muscles or anything like that. I think it's because of the attitude those people have towards preventing an injury rather than wait for it to happen.
Those people are team doctor Bob Cook, physical therapist Brian Casper, and trainer Mike Sheminsky. Men that aren't visible on a game-to-game basis, but crucial to the overall success of the team. With the exception of Mark Bryant, the Blazers have been remarkably free of serious injury for 2 seasons. The medical staff gives much of the credit to the team itself for year-round conditioning, and having great athletes on the roster doesn't hurt either.
In order to be phenomenal athletes, they have to be in great shape to begin with. Very strong, flexible, great endurance. And I think that's exemplified by some of the extremely profound things that they're subjected to physically.
You know, 10, 15 years ago, players would, once the season would end, that'd be it. They wouldn't touch a basketball maybe till September. But our guys are so conscious about keeping themselves in shape and trying to maintain that edge over other teams that they're in playing ball, they're in with conditioning, lifting weights, and trying to keep themselves in somewhat shape during the summer.
Cheminsky is a man who deals with the inevitable aches and pains the long season produces. In his 4th season with the team, he has developed a necessary trust and rapport with the players.
Gee, Mike, that's the best tape job I ever had.
Taping is just a part of a bigger picture of preventive medicine that Cheminsky and Cook subscribe to in a big way. Be it proper stretching or eating right, the players can, to a degree, control their own injury destiny with the right preparation. And the players of the 90s have to be more sophisticated, in a medical sense, helping themselves with treatment at home.
When Wayne left last night, we gave him the instructions of icing, give him some medication, and we had preset all the dials on this for him to use at home. So this is all part of the treatment process.
There are those who said Portland has the talent. The only thing that could keep them from contending for the title is injuries. The Blazer medical staff has done its part. The rest will be decided when the ball is tossed up.
Mike and I and the other people involved feel that if we work hard at our job, we're going to be rewarded by seeing healthy guys stay on the court and having a minimum number of injuries to treat after the fact. And so that's, I guess you feel a certain sense of pressure to accomplish that, but you feel a certain sense of accomplishment when it's worked out as it has this season.
It's Portland Trail Blazer playoff time. Blazer Cable brings you all the action for the first 2 games of round 1 as the Blazers square off against their Northwest rivals, the Seattle Supersonics. It all begins this Friday night at 7:30, pregame at 7 o'clock. On Sunday, Game 2 of this best-of-5 series begins at 6:30 with a 6 o'clock pregame show.
For the most flavorful meats, ocean-fresh seafood, and locally grown poultry, come to Thriftway. You'll find just what you want. And because you wouldn't settle for less than the best, neither do we. That's why every time you shop at Thriftway, you get all this quality and something more. Friendly, personal service from people who really care.
At Thriftway, you always get our best.
Statistics tell us that this year alone, more than 1 million families will experience the tragedy of drug abuse, and 80% of these family members will be 17 years of age or younger. Today's youth are the future of America, and it is important that all of us become better educated about the drug problem that is plaguing our society. That is why I am encouraged and excited by the initiative that is being taken by the Elmer's Pancake and Steakhouse restaurant chain. Elmer's is dedicating nearly 80% of their advertising dollar toward a major drug abuse and prevention scholarship program in the public high school system. I salute Elmer's for taking a leading role on behalf of the private sector in combating this serious problem. Winning the war against drug abuse, however, can only be accomplished through a collective effort if we are to preserve the health, the productivity, and quality of life of this country. We all need to play our part.
Smith's Home Furnishings, the store you know and trust for furniture, appliances, and electronics, is now the store you can trust for computers. Because Smith's makes buying a computer easy and understandable. Because Smith's sells top-quality, leading technology computers. Because Smith's has a computer system to fit every need and budget. Because Smith's offers long-term deferred financing on computers. So if you're looking for a computer, look to the name you trust. Look to Smith's Home Furnishings.
Tonight's special presentation of Blazer Trail, the second season, is being brought to you by Binions. Get a better look at Binions Optical Superstore. By Smith's Home Furnishings, the Northwest premier retailer of home furnishings. And by Nordstrom. Try on a pair of our Easy Spirit shoes for a chance to win Blazer tickets.
Welcome back, my friends. You know them simply as the assistants, but there is so much more to the men that Rick Adelman calls his staff.
Pressure. All NBA coaches feel it, and lots of it. Pressure to win. Pressure to keep today's pro athlete happy. Pressure to please management, your fans, and the media. In today's NBA, head coaches need more than just great players. They need help. Help in the form of assistant coaches who can shoulder some of the load. And in Portland, Rick Adelman has two of the very best in the business.
I couldn't ask for two better people. This is a lonely business. And if you have two guys who you really trust and really respect, it makes a big difference. And both of those guys have been through the wars, and Jack's been in college in the pros, and John's been through the wars in the pros as assistant and head coach. So I can't have two better assistants than I have.
John Wetzel spent 7 seasons as a journeyman NBA guard with stints in Los Angeles, Phoenix, and Atlanta before an ill-fated year as head coach of the 1987-88 Phoenix Suns. A year marred by repercussions from an alleged drug scandal, a devastating rash of injuries, and ongoing player personnel changes. Despite all of the problems, Wetzel measure from having been an NBA player himself.
And I think having played, it helps you have a feel for the players. And for those coaches who have never played, I think sometimes they don't put that into the equation, the fact that the players are human beings and sometimes they're tired and they can't give you a full-blown effort the next day in practice after a tough game. And I think we as a staff really have a good feel for that.
Now in his 3rd season as one of Adelman's assistants, Wetzel performs all standard coaching duties, but his emphasis is on scouting the Blazers' upcoming opponent and doing preliminary board work on their tendencies. But above all else, for Wetzel, being a supportive member of Adelman's staff takes first priority.
As a head coach, you look for assistants who, above everything else, are going to be loyal to you because it's a tough job. And when you're in the one seat as the head coach, it's a lot different from being in the assistant's chair every night. And we, Jack and myself, are very supportive of Rick.
Away from the rigors of the NBA, Wetzel has found his release.
I've been running since the year, second year after I quit playing, and I think for me it's a release. It's a time for me to get out by myself, to get clearer things out of my head. You don't have to think about a whole lot while you're running, and it's a chance for me physically to stay in decent shape. But I think more than that, it's a mental cleansing, and it's a situation where it gets the stress of that. It's a great release.
Wetzel jogs 4 or 5 times a week, often with a group at home and solo on the road. But does he ever dedicate his running time to fantasies of another head coaching stint in the NBA?
For me to run out and take a job just for the sake of being a head coach again is not what I'm after. If the situation were to be right, if it were a city where I felt good about the job, about the people I was working with, yes, I would like to do it. If not, I'm very comfortable here. I like it here. I like the people, and I'm can see myself staying in a situation like this for a number of years.
Coaching has always been in Jack Shallow's blood. His 16-year collegiate career took him from Duke to LSU to Seattle and several stops in between. He spent a few seasons as a Seattle assistant for Bucky Buckwalter, current Blazer vice president of basketball operations. After a brief stint as head man with the CBA's Wyoming Wildcatters, where he coached current Blazer guard Danny Young, Shallow left the game for a few years, only to return in 1985, first as a Blazer scout, and then the next season as a full assistant as well. The past 2 storybook seasons with the Blazers have been high points in Shallow's long and varied coaching career, and this year's All-Star Game assignment was truly something special.
Well, it was a thrill for me because I never envisioned myself ever being on the staff in the NBA All-Star. I never, when I was in college, never really thought about the NBA that much as far as coaching there. And then when you get to the NBA and you win and you have a great team, the players get you there, obviously. But we always have to go back and pat our players on the back and say thank you, because without them getting us to the #1 seed at that time, we would never got there.
An impeccable dresser and a hairstyle that evokes images of former Laker coach Pat Riley, Shallow has masked his true identity.
He's just a country boy. Dresses dapper, but he really is most comfortable in a pair of jeans and a cowboy shirt.
Cutting horses. This hobby has a long history. Growing up in Zelva, North Dakota, Shallow began riding at age 3. Owned his first horse the next year, and by his 10th birthday had his first exposure to the art of cutting. Now, aside from his family, cutting horses are his deepest passion away from the hardwood. He began riding these horses this past summer and now wants to buy his own. Shallow rides whenever he can, early morning if need be, and often on the road when the team has an off day in places like Phoenix and San Antonio. To say it all makes Shallow happy is merely an understatement.
But it's a great thrill. I mean, I like to do things that get my adrenaline going, and riding a cutting horse, the great athleticism of a cutting horse, stopping that cow, playing defense, in other words, on a cow, trying to get back to the herd, to me is one of the most interesting and fantastic things that I think a horse can do.
Jack Shallow may have a different method of escaping the pressures of the NBA, but just like his coaching partner John Wetzel, he isn't looking to leave the Rose City anytime soon.
I don't think that I would take any job in the NBA that where you have no chance of winning, like an expansion team when you first start. I think that would be very, very difficult. You know, I really am happy here. I could spend the rest of my coaching days here as an assistant coach and not say when I left and retired that I missed something.
The Pacific Division champion Trailblazers have had little trouble on the court this season, setting a franchise record for victories in 1 year. In addition, the Blazers have had considerable success off the court. They continue to stand tall throughout the community. In the past, Blazer fans may have been criticized by some for their theater crowd stance while at games in the Coliseum. Those complaints haven't been coming from the players themselves. Over the years, it seems like the Blazer players have never been able to say enough about the outstanding support and goodwill they've received while wearing a Trailblazer jersey. The players are eager to return the support, and each player in his own way puts something back into the community that has supported him so well.
Certainly in this area in Portland, the Blazers are a big deal, and it's nice that at times they can see us off the court. Sometimes they can see us in person and talk to us, and it's funny when you first see them that they're kind of nervous at first, but then all of a sudden they get used to you, and it's because they almost think we're not human. You know, the fact that they only see us on TV or in the newspapers, and I think at times you need to break that up a little bit and come out and talk to people and let them realize that you're just like they are.
One of the players who's been out in the community for several years is Blazer guard Clyde Drexler. Clyde finds today's students to be one of his primary concerns while serving as chairman of the Blazer Aveo Scholastic Improvement Concepts program. While Clyde enjoyed his own school days, he feels that things may have been different if something like the basic program was around when he was young.
This would have been more incentive to read because more people would have been involved with it. It would have been something like being in a separate club. And that's always fun when you're a kid.
Whether it means working with kids or adults, several of the other players choose to become involved with many other charities or community events. When the Trailblazers' demanding schedule calls for an extended homestand, don't be surprised to see the players out in the community. They're making sure the fans always know the support works both ways.
The Easy Spirit Color Playoffs, the Golds versus the Patents. The one and only Easy Spirit Shock Blocker Pump.
There really is a sneaker inside these little pumps.
Can walk in style and still smile.
Spirit, let the spirit move you.
Available at Nordstrom. Freshness and variety. Thriftway brings you the best of both right in the store. And everything you need for a great meal to go. Delicious deli salads and casseroles, lean sliced meats, plus hearty home-style breads, rolls, and baked goods. When you shop at Thriftway, you get all this variety, plus friendly personal service that makes shopping a pleasure.
At Thriftway, you always get our best.
In about an hour, you can get a desirable new look, a glowing look, an approachable look, In about an hour, get the one look that's right for you at Binion's Optical Superstore with eyewear specialists to help. An in-store lab so even no-line bifocals and trifocals are ready in about an hour. For the look you've been looking for, in about an hour, get a better look at Binion's. No billing or payments for 90 days with Sears charge at Binion's.
Imagine having your office right in your lap. Now, IBM has a new laptop computer that lets you retrieve information, revise budgets, create presentations,
Show them the next chart.
even at 30,000 feet. Introducing the PS2 laptop computer. If you want the feel and power of a desktop PS2 without the desk, how are you going to do it? PS2 it.
Leadership. Something that can't be measured by points and rebounds, and something the so-called experts said was lacking on the Portland roster not too long ago. But now the Blazers have an abundance of leaders, and none more prominent than Terry Porter.
And the leader of the pack at guard 6'3", Wisconsin-Stevens point number 30, Terry Porter. Terry Porter! Holy backboard! Can you believe that?
Leader of the pack.
Terry Porter is typically humble when questioned about his leadership, but there's little doubt he revs the engine of the Blazers' high-octane offense.
Terry Porter. Porter out of the backcourt. Pass the left wing to Jerome Kersey. Jams it at the other end. What a pass!
As far as getting everybody up for a game, I don't think there's a case. I don't think we need a leader for that. As far as realizing and telling everybody what type of situation we're in right now, we really don't need that. I think the only time when you think of leader, you think of someone on the floor who tries to get everybody in the right position.
During the past 2 seasons, Terry has found himself in the right position repeatedly for the Blazers. His emergence as one of the league's top point guards is a big reason for this team's success.
I mean, he has a heart that big, and he wants the ball in crucial situations, and he proved it time after time of making the big shot.
Terry's always been one of the top guards, and now other people in the country are realizing it.
That realization landed Terry in Charlotte, North Carolina for the NBA's All-Star Weekend as a participant in the three-point shootout where he finished second, and as a member of the West All-Star squad.
Also making his first All-Star appearance, one of the league's steadiest point guards, as well as one of the top three-point shooters in the game. From the Trailblazers, Terry Porter.
Yeah, that part of it was probably the best. I mean, just being introduced with all those so many great players was, just a high. The game was definitely important, but, it wasn't so much the game. I think just being able to be with those guys when you don't have to worry about, I got to try to stop them, and, you catch them in a more relaxed mode, you get a chance to interact with them a lot better. It was nice just to chat with them and not worry so much about, how you got to try to beat them or what you got to do to try to beat their team.
When away from his team, you can often find Terry swinging a golf club, a pastime he enjoys very much. But when not on the links, Terry enjoys being at home, preferring to spend quiet time with his wife, Susie, play some billiards, or even play host when the neighborhood youngsters drop by. Terry is visible in the community through various public service announcements and personal appearances. In fact, he was the runner-up in the NBA's J. Walter Kennedy Citizenship Award this year. Terry realizes professional athletes are role models, but he believes that the right values start at home.
I don't think that the basketball or professional athlete should be the role model for the kids. I think it's important for the kids to have their parents as role models also. I mean, they can look up to a guy, but also, I think their parents should be there to tell them what's right and wrong.
Terry Porter, a man who has no trouble distinguishing right from wrong on the court and carries the same philosophy to his home life. The only people left behind the 8-ball, his basketball opponents.
Leader of the pack.
In his first 2 full seasons as the head coach of the Trailblazers, Rick Adelman has guided the team to a franchise record number of victories both years. Now recently, my broadcast partner, Mike Rice, had the opportunity to sit down and chat with Rick about the regular season and the upcoming playoffs.
How rewarding has this season been compared to the rest of the seasons? And in retrospect, would you change anything now it's been so successful?
No, I wouldn't change anything. I think this has really been a rewarding year for us. After the year last year and getting the playoffs, a lot of people thought, well, what are they going to do when they come out this year? And people are going to be prepared for them. Everybody's going to be shooting at them. And I think especially the way we started off, the way the team responded at the beginning of the year. We struggled the first 2 games of the year, if you remember. Then we beat LA and just kind of took off from that point on. After that start, everybody was pointing for us then. And we went through that rough period during the middle of the year, February, and there were a lot of questions. But the way the team has responded in the latter part of the year, I think you don't go through this very often in the NBA. What this team's done the last 2 years, it's not very often this happens. And for us to come back after last year and win more games than we did last year, I thought we were going to be better. I didn't think we were going to win as many games. And but for our team to respond like they have, win the Pacific Division, and get the best record in the league, that's all you can do in the regular season. You can't do any better than that. And I think we accomplished the 2 goals we wanted to accomplish, and we have 1 more left.
You know, the fans in Portland are just, they expect so much. So much has been written early that the Trailblazers may go all the way. Was there any point in the season that you just wish the season would end and the playoffs would start?
You have to expect that here. I think after last year and our playoff run last year, this town went so crazy over the Blazers again. And again, I don't think if you can't enjoy that, you can't enjoy anything in this business, because there can be some real bad times. It wasn't too long ago there was a bad time. So I wouldn't change anything. I like the way we were approaching the season. Our team kept a real even keel about it, even through the really good times and through the bad times. They were a very solid group, and I think we did what we wanted to do during the regular season. We're fairly healthy going into the playoffs. We've got a very good feeling about ourselves, and we're ready. We're ready for what's going to come in the playoffs.
Going past the playoffs, 2 years ago you had Buck Williams. This year Danny Ainge came in. Do you foresee any major changes like that for next year?
I don't anticipate that. I think we have a really solid group, and again, we hope to win the championship this year. That's our goal, and we have a good chance to do as anybody in the league. If we happen not to do it for whatever reason, the world's not going to come to an end. We have a very, very solid team. If we don't do it this year, we may do it next year or the year after that. We're not going to break this group up just because we may stumble in the playoffs, not when you win like we did the last 2 years.
If something were to happen that you didn't win the championship, would it be a total washout this season? All the great accomplishments, how well the team has played?
I would go on vacation real quick and get out of town, I think. I would hate to even answer that now. To me, initially, it would be a real devastating thing because of everything we've done. A lot depends on how it happened or why it happened, but I don't think it's going to be a total washout. I don't see how you can feel that way. This team, I couldn't be prouder of a group of guys. They've accomplished a couple of things that we wanted to accomplish. A lot of times winning a championship is such a small line between winning and losing. We could lose a tough 7-game series to San Antonio or the Lakers, and you'd have no reason to be ashamed of that. So it would depend how it happened. But I would not feel that way. I think once you get away from it after a couple weeks, you look back on it and say, hey, look what we did. It's similar to what the Lakers felt last year. I don't think their season was a washout last year. They were the best team in the league. They just happened to get beat in the playoffs. You would look at yourself and see how you could improve the team, but it's not going to be a washout. We've accomplished too much.
The last question. Last year, when the East came, it was Detroit. Do you look over at the East and hope maybe you get a little revenge from Detroit, or would you like Michael Jordan, Larry Bird? Do you have a choice if you got that far?
I would anticipate, just looking over there, that right now, obviously, Chicago and Boston are the 2 teams that look like they're going to be the ones they're going to challenge. I don't think Boston can do it unless they have Bird back. If Bird plays in the playoffs and is healthy, they have an excellent chance. But I would anticipate right now Chicago is the team. I mean, they've proven it all year long. But Detroit's always there. When you get to the playoffs and you get in a playoff series and they get healthy, who knows what's going to happen. But if we get to the finals, I could care less who's there. I mean, it doesn't matter to me. All I know is they're going to have to come to Portland 4 times and play if we're there. And we'll take whoever comes out of the East. It doesn't matter to me. We've beaten all those teams this year, so it doesn't bother me who we play.
heart at Thriftway. We're working hard for you, because we're more than just a store, we're your neighbors too. With quality and service, come on and be our guest at Thriftway. You always get our best. We're part of the community, we're part of the Northwest at Thriftway. You always get our best.
Here's why Nobody Cares Like Smith's is more than just a great slogan.
Color playoffs, the golds versus the patents. The one and only Easy Spirit Shock Blocker Pump.
Really is a sneaker inside these little pumps.
Can walk in style and still smile.
Spirit, let the spirit move you.
Available at Nordstrom.
Imagine having your office right in your lap. Now, IBM has a new laptop computer that lets you retrieve information, revise budgets, create presentations,
Show them the next chart.
even at 30,000 feet. Introducing the PS2 laptop computer. If you want the feel and power of a desktop PS2 without the desk, how are you going to do it? PS2 it.
It's that time of year again, my friends. It's time for our own Steve Jones to honor the NBA's finest from the past regular season, and then time to take a peek at what lies ahead. Go for it, Jonesy.
Most of us believe that the NBA season starts sometime in November. That's the first regular season game. But for the franchises, the future begins in June with the draft. The top 5 from last year's draft: Derek Coleman, Gary Payton, Chris Jackson, Dennis Scott, and Kendall Gill. And as we take a look at this year's candidates for Rookie of the Year, it turns out there are only 2. One was the #1 pick, Derek Coleman. The other was #7, Lionel Simmons. My choice, without a doubt, Lionel Simmons. And Simmons played under some woeful conditions in his first year on a team that set a NBA record for most consecutive losses on the road. He is a bright star for the Sacramento Kings. The Six-Man Award always produces a lot of arguments because we're never quite sure of what a six-man is. And the NBA balanced season has produced 4 choices, 2 in the East and 2 in the West. And Boston's Kevin McHale is always a perennial choice for that award. Indiana's Jet the Shrimp happens to be a big surprise to most people. Out West, and he moved west, last year's winner, Ricky Pierce. But the biggest surprise coming out of the West this year is Phoenix, Dan Marley. My choice, Ricky Pierce.
He's unique in that respect. A guy can come in and put up 15, 20 points in a matter of minutes, and that's a rare thing. Not many players are able to do it.
Don, we finally agree on something, and I'm sure that the rest of the NBA would love to find the formula that produced such a surprising team in the Houston Rockets. After the injury to Hakeem Olajuwon, it seemed as though the team would certainly go down and not up, and somehow they rallied together and produced the biggest surprise in my mind in the NBA, which certainly gives the Coach of the Year award to Don Chaney. Chaney, of course, in his first couple of seasons at Houston, produced teams that just were above 500, but this year he's found that magical formula of camaraderie and chemistry that make the Houston Rockets special and certainly a dark horse in this year's playoff race.
When they had injuries, when they were struggling, they didn't panic and kind of righted the ship, so to speak. Chaney's done a wonderful job with that team.
You want a scene? You want an argument? Then let's talk about the criteria for an MVP. Because for every person that wants that candidate, they have different ideas of what it should be. At the start of this season, in my mind, there were really only 6 people to qualify. Clyde Drexler, David Robinson, Charles Barkley, Karl Malone, Michael Jordan, and Magic Johnson.
Now, to me, there's only one way to judge a most valuable player, and that's on his ability to produce wins year in and year out. And since the day he put on his uniform, Magic Johnson has been that. He has set a standard of excellence that few will ever be able to achieve. And until he retires, Magic Johnson is the MVP.
Magic is magic, and there's so many ways to describe him, but I'd say the best way to describe him is just to say he's fantastic. He's just a super player in every aspect of the game.
Well, you know, I sat down and I thought about it when it came my turn to make those predictions at the start of the year. I said Portland and Detroit. And I said Portland because Portland has the greatest incentive. They were there a year ago. They were a team that no one expected to be there, but this season has produced the home court advantage. It has given them a better bench, and it's given them a greater excellence of play. Now, who will they play? I'm saying now, because of the problems in Detroit, the Chicago Bulls. The Chicago Bulls are a young team. They don't have the experience of the NBA championship. So Portland, look out. June could be special. The Trailblazers will win it all.
Deshaun said Mike Rice could sit courtside, but not the Swami. So I had to ask my good friend Bob Euchre for his seat. The Swami has returned by unpopular demand. Last time the Swami picked Portland, San Antonio, Boston, and Chicago to win division championships. The crystal ball also said San Antonio would have home court advantage throughout the playoffs because of the weak Midwest division. I now possess a new crystal ball. The old one was defective. Swami now will see what the new crystal ball has to say. Team championship? Early, Swami had Chicago beating Boston in the East. The new crystal ball likes Boston to win it in the East. Portland and LA will go 7 before Portland wins the Western. In the finals, Porter and Drexler will have too much experience for Shaw and Lewis. Buck and Kersey will stop the Birdman, and on June 16th, after the 6th game, the Trailblazers will be the next NBA champs. The Swami has spoken, maybe for the last time. Take it from the Swami. You won't want to miss Trailblazer playoff action. Blazer Cable brings you the first 2 games of the first round against their Northwest rivals, the Seattle Supersonics. It all begins this Friday, 7:30. Pregame at 7 o'clock. And then on Sunday, Game 2 at 6:30 with a 6 o'clock pregame show. The Swami says the Blazers in 3.
Is Nobody Cares Like Smith more than just a great slogan? It's a lot more, and we want you to come in and see why.
Nobody cares like Smith.
In about an hour, you can get a desirable new look, a glowing look, an approachable look. In about an hour, get the one look that's right for you at Binion's Optical Superstore with eyewear specialists to help. An in-store lab so even no-line bifocals and trifocals are ready in about an hour. For the look you've been looking for, in about an hour, get a better look at Binion's. No billing or payments for 90 days with Sears charge at Binion's.
Good morning. It's 6 a.m., and it's going to be a great day. In a moment, the traffic report, followed by the news, then an update of what's happening on Wall Street. But first, this word from your good friends out at Johnson.
There are some people who will go to great lengths to start their day at Elmer's Pancake and Steakhouse. Elmer's, home of the original Power Breakfast.
Well, see you again tomorrow.
Well, there you've had it, my friends. Tonight we've looked back at the thrilling season that was, and we've looked ahead to try to see the future. Now, there's nothing more to say, right, except let the playoffs begin. So wherever you may be, this is Bill Schonely. Good night, everybody, and I'll see you on the radio.
Tonight's special presentation of Blazer Trail, the second season, has been brought to you by Elmer's Pancake and Steakhouse, home of the original Power Breakfast. By Nordstrom, try on a pair of our Easy Spirit shoes for a chance to win Blazer tickets. And by Thriftway. At Thriftway, you always get our best.
Let's go! Come on, everybody, and let's get the bumping, cause it's trailblazer time. Baby, Rip City's jumping like a full court crush. There ain't a way to break it, so everybody up now. Let me see you shake it. Too hard to stop it. Can't stop the Blazer.